for another Friday safety focus of the week. Today is Friday, June 28th. Looking like it's going to be a nice day to work safe and work well together as a team. This week's code of conduct is to respect the property of others. Pretty straightforward, but then Ben Dow, any words of wisdom for us?
Well, property is one of the most personal things we have, and whenever your personal property is disturbed, people always take it very personal. So I always say to treat the property of others the way you want it to be treated, that way you would want it to be treated yourself. So treat it as if you were your own. And it also demonstrates good practice if you keep good character, if you practice this every day. It makes us look professional out there and caring. A long-winded answer for a short little code item, isn't it? Sorry.
No, it's good. And the biggest thing, if you do damage someone else's property, step up and let them know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the part that people really get upset about.
Exactly.
When you don't say anything, right?
Don't say anything. Yeah, that's situations get difficult to correct sometimes. So good job this past week. We went another 7 without a recordable. We did have a very minor first aid. We're able to utilize our resources in-house to keep it pretty minimal. Just a little contusion that had a small little cut in it. So all in all, very small, very minor. Those are the type of incidents that if we are going to have, those are the ones that we want to have, very minor. Quick little safety shout out this week. Good job to the Highgate project team. They identified an unsafe condition. They utilized the hierarchy of controls to try to set up an administrative controls to help keep themselves organized so they wouldn't have any backing hazards. So good job up there, and we're looking in a more permanent fix for good communications with our equipment. But it was a good identification and remedy to correct the situation, so we would all know when to stop or how to properly back up to one another with all the heavy equipment moving that we had. So good job up there to Charlie and crew. Any other additional shout outs out there? Oh, Tom, if you got one or anybody else, feel free to jump in. Okay. So this week we're going to highlight our last leg of the Focus 4 for us is electrical. We're going to kind of more do a micro approach to our electrical training for the year. Again, with electricity, it is one of those silent killers. It is always around us. It's every single job site that we're on today, we're going to be exposed to electricity. So we need to really put an awareness, a proper awareness, and have safety baked into our decision making when it comes to being able to identify it, and then have the right type of mindset that we try not to get into it. If it's aerial or in the ground, or if it's sources that we're generating with generators or extension cords. So we have like 5 different pictures here. A simple thing as pounding a curb pin in. We've got into some troubles with, sinking ground curb pins into live power lines. So that's an example of a project that Zach McQueen was doing in Pearl Street. A lot of underground utility in Burlington. So those urban settings, we got to really make sure we identify and we have good dig safe markings. Again, you can contact contact safety. You can come out and really give you depths on underground utilities. So when we're thinking a simple thing as curb pins, we can identify and correct those hazards by giving you the information so we don't sink a curb pin into a live power line. Especially down in Burlington, we have some high voltage power lines and some of it's direct buried. Directional drilling, of course, there's a lot of potential there. So that's the potholing, making sure that we have all the known utilities located before we cross bore any utilities there. Cranes and all of our heavy equipment, aerial, from all of our truck drivers, the milling crew, the paving crew, always around overhead power. We're going to talk about our best practices later, but again, just identifying and having the right mindset that we're not going to get into anything aerial. And then it's hard to see kind of in that photo, but there's a lot of extension cords that we're using up in Morristown culvert right now. So we're making sure it's, inspecting those cords. We're utilizing the right cords for the job. We're not piggybacking or daisy chaining our extension cords, or keeping those out of the mud, water, anything like that could potentially give anybody a shock. Then all of our substation work and all of our excavation work that we do is having a good an idea of our proper maintaining the proper distance that we need to have, if it's 18-inch tolerance zone or if it's 10 feet, 15 or 20 feet, aerial wise to all of our uh, overhead power lines. So again, hopefully everybody is a friendly reminder of the hierarchy of controls with electricity. Again, looking up from the pyramid down, our most effective is, again, is lockout tackle, completely remove it. And a lot of things that we have to do is more on the kind of bidding the work and setting up the work before we even kind of get the project. Sometimes, like, how can we move some poles around or work with a power company to completely remove these aerial hazards, or if there's anything underground with a deep excavation, how can we relocate um, all these potential power lines. But for us in the field and for the purpose of this training, we're going to kind of work on the engineering controls, awareness, admin controls, because that's something that we can really make a difference out there in the field. So again, try to isolate people, keep everybody away, maintain those safe distances. Can add signage. It's a great friendly reminder, or put cones or barrels roughly that like 15 feet away from overhead power lines, and just kind of imagine that cone, and imagine, a vertical um, air distance from that cone is like, so those excavation buckets and or the cranes or anything that kind of gives you that reflection point to stay away from all those overhead power lines. And then the safe work practice, the admin stuff, we're going to talk about our JHA in the next slide. And then the last line of defense again is that PPE. For us, we're not qualified electricians, so we shouldn't ever really be touching it, handling it. We just got to stay away from it, make that call, keep the area safe, and stay away from any live power that might have dropped or might be needing to work on it. So again, our admin controls, really, if you just follow our JHA when you're filling it out, again, the JHA is to get us thinking about safety, to baking in safety in our decision making, but also we've added a lot of good tips and tricks how to mitigate and manage electricity on our projects. So with underground utilities, you're going to be excavating, or we're going to be cross boring, we're going to be drilling, whatever we're going to be doing on site. Follow that underground utilities best practice, maintaining our dig safes. Hand dig inside, or make sure we're hand digging inside those 18-inch tolerance zones. Potholing to verify the depths before we can visually see any cross borings or excavator bucket around any underground power. And then also you can always call for remarks. We can come out and help out as well. Overhead power, if we're going to have it, you identified on your job site, we have a quick little box for you. Voltage at 50 kV, try to keep that 10 feet away. This is just for heavy equipment. Cranes is automatic 20 feet with our cranes. Only times we can get within that if we've talked with a power company. And then as the voltage increases, our distance also increases. And then always look up before moving equipment and making sure we're utilizing spotters. And then the last is we got our power tools, extension cords, and we just have best practices. So try to use the GFCIs with all of our extension cords. All of our generators that we use out there has that. So just making sure that it's working properly, give it a test run, making sure that it does, do that test so it does trip, so that it's working well. So Tom and I usually kind of do that when we walk around our job sites, double checking our cords, looking for the ground pins and stuff like that. But please do not use any defective equipment when it comes to power tools, extension cords. Let's take those out of service. Tom and myself, we both have them in our company pickup trucks. So if you need a new cord when you see us, we'll exchange those out. So we're not utilizing any defective cords and no one gets shocked out there on our job sites. So pretty straightforward, kind of a macro training on electrical. Biggest thing for us is stay away from it.
Well, Matt, one of the big things you mentioned was curb pins, and the act of removing and replacing concrete curb and sidewalk is always one of the most dangerous things, because you lose your marks, and then you get another crew that comes in that wasn't intimately involved in the beginning of a project. And sometimes in Burlington, we still have 13,800 volt primary power in Orangeburg, or what you call Bermico, which is like cardboard pipe. It's like a bituminized cardboard pipe. It's like a curb pin doesn't even feel it. One time we drove a curb pin through 2 legs of 13.8 and it blew the end of the curb pin off.
Yeah.
And luckily, the guy that was holding on the curb pin let go when he hit. And I couldn't believe what it did to that curb pin. So when driving those things, have someone come and sweep it if you're unsure about what's down there, because we lose the marks a lot of times. And you guys can come out and mark for us, right?
Yep.
We can get a remark.
We can get a remark, but we can also take care of it internally as well. For sure.
Yeah, it's the unknown stuff. The known stuff, yeah, but the unknown stuff is really scary, especially in some of these areas like Burlington.
Okay, all set?
Yep.
I'll take over the screen. Oops, hit the wrong button, I think. Oh, wait. What are you looking at?
We see join your Teams meeting.
Oh,
Yeah.
I tapped it wrong. Let's see.
Oh, in the meantime, we should wish Ben Dow a happy birthday tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, that's
Sarah
right.
reminded us of that yesterday.
Hope I can make it. Hope I can make it to my birthday. One more day.
I think okay. Do you see the email, or am I still screwed up?
We have your email, Ken.
We see your inbox.
My inbox.
In with your email. Yeah, I can see your inbox, your whole
but I didn't mean to get that.
Your whole Outlook.
Yeah. Again. Let's see, it should be that one. That better?
There you go.
All right.
There you go.
Let's see here. Okay, announcements. So we have Independence Day coming up, the 4th of July, next week. So we start out with Thursday the 4th, and the ECI office is closed, like every state, federal, banks, and all kinds of post offices and places like that. And then Friday, where some places will be open, we are going to be closed. And in recognition of the holiday, ECI is going to give all full-time active employees 8 hours of ATO for that day. So I'm pretty excited to do that. So we'll all have a long weekend. And of course, that means there's no Friday morning safety meeting next week.
Yep. So Ken, one thing to add, we'll have to, we're going to get ATO added to our balances. So for that Friday, the 5th, that means that in order to get the ATO to use it, we have to input it into our time cards. But it'll be added to our balance whether we use it or not on Friday.
Yeah. So we need to also submit our time records, hopefully the end of day today, and at the very latest 6 o'clock Monday morning, because the payroll processing is challenging in a short work week. And anyone who submits their record by the end of today will be rewarded with a lollipop from Sarah. So she has a bucket of lollipops. She's running low, so you better hurry up.
And those are Tootsie Pops too, the good ones. They're the good ones, Ken.
Yeah. And also just a reminder, all these holiday weekends are a challenge for theft, vandalism, and keeping our job site safe for the traveling public. So let's kind of double up on our organizing and securing of the job site at the end of today. And last week I left this on because I had a kind of an older version that I was showing of our announcements, and I didn't have it written in here, even though we recognize Dave Forcier. I left it on here. So as we mentioned last week, Dave was promoted to ECI field supervisor. And then the social media items here. We have Facebook, an ECI Facebook site, and an Instagram. And right now there's an ongoing June photo contest, and you can vote. You can send it in. I don't know if you can still send it in for this month, but you can certainly vote until June 30th. So check it out and vote for your favorite photo. I have on here the 2024 healthcare premium holiday, and just a note at the end, the premium holiday expires with our July 12th paycheck, so it's coming up real soon. Unfortunately, we have some new employees. We have Brandon Shappy and Devin Bartlett. Oh, I didn't have the divisions those guys are assigned to. Ben, do you know?
Brandon's driver.
Okay.
I know that.
Devin Sybil.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome, guys. I carried here this week again the 401k Ready Save mobile app. So you can link to the census, which is a record keeping company we have for our 401k. And they have available not just the records online on their website, but also you can set up to read your financial records on your 401k through this mobile app. I have a link to the ECI Primary Care Wellness Program. And then this week, we're going to talk about the Consolidated Communications Relocation Project on I-89 Exit 17 for that reconstruction project in Colchester. And Tom, you're going to present, right?
Yep, I will be happy to. Yes. You want to
Okay.
drive, Ken? That would be good.
Yeah, I'll drive.
All right, we'll kick it off. So ECI was contracted with Consolidated Communications for this project. We did install a 12-inch HDPE sleeve stuffed with 3 2-inch conduits for the relocation of the existing conduits, or the prior conduits that they had across the Exit 17 project. This project was required to allow the interchange work that is now underway and being performed by Kabricki Construction. In late fall of 2023, we started with our American augers, DD240. We've got some nice pictures that follow this right up. We'll show you all that. Immediately upon the start of the bore, we encountered the old Route 2 concrete slab, and that was required us to open dig that section of the bore, remove the slab, and then re-begin. After that, we continued for probably another 150 feet thereabouts and ran into unexpected bedrock, which wasn't shown on the V-Trans test borings. And we made multiple attempts to avoid the rock, but ultimately we needed to change over to our Ditch Witch 100 AT, which is our rock drilling equipment. So in addition to that, we also had to use the AT 100. We had a number of attempts there due to the profile in the rock to get into a spot where we could successfully enter and complete the bore. So late in the fall of 2023, we returned after a winter shutdown. Ken, you want to scroll?
Yep.
A lot of challenges were on this project, but differing conditions was probably the largest thing. We had very hard rock. We had some heavy slumping clay that created some issues for us. Obviously, bedrock, but ultimately the pipe was pulled in and a successful bore was completed, which was nice on the exact same day as the project we had underway in Exeter, New Hampshire. So it was a good Friday for the drilling crew for sure. And looking at these photos, this first photo is the initial plan that we drew up. The black line indicates our intended bore alignment. We started at the end of Jasper Mine Road. Basically, that was our staging area and our work area right near Beauregard equipment. And where it switches to red here, this is where we started to encounter rock and changed alignment. And this is where I mentioned we had a couple of different attempts to ultimately get through there. Continuing on.
It was interesting, Tom. We have a picture coming up of the slab that we encountered too.
Yeah.
We hit it before we got to the asphalt, the roadway on the Route 2.
Right. Yeah.
And on that bank, and we were fairly deep when we hit it.
Yeah.
It was the old Route 2 before the bridge and the interstate was built, I guess, and the grade dropped quite dramatically from up there by Beauregard's down into that kind of basin where the interstate travels, and obviously came back up to chimney corners, but it was surprising that we encountered it so deep.
Yeah, no, V-Trans provided us with, I think it was like the 1950s, all their drawings from that during that episode before we excavated and saw what we're into. But it didn't really give a lot of detail on the elevation, but we found it for sure. So this is on the east side of the project, continuing on. The only requirements we had were to stay 8 feet away from the bridge abutment, the existing bridge abutment, and we were able to do that. The attempts we made continued to shift north, but ultimately we got through, and then we continued on to completion to an existing pole where the lines went overhead from that point. Here's our DD 240. This machine's got longer rods, 30-foot rods, and the production was great, and we were kind of fired up to have it out there and get it moving. And obviously we ran into the concrete, but shortly after that, we ran into the rock, which required different technology.
Well, I will say that the 240 is well equipped for drilling rock, but it's really meant for rock on a different scale.
Right? Yeah.
Takes a
the
lot
trade-off
to mob up to take rock out. We have the simpler rock drilling technology in the ATs.
Exactly. So yeah, any of these drills can be, the larger drills can get to rock with mud motors like we used in Exeter, but having what we had in the backyard with 100 AT was the logical and economical decision for sure.
Yeah.
But yes, good point, Ken. Definitely, we can hit that with rock. In this next photo here, this is the concrete slab. You can see it looks like there's some rebar mesh in there.
Yeah, we were out. What were we out about 60 feet in front of the drill or something?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
We were down,
yeah.
probably pitched down. Well, we were working off the embankment there. We were reaching down about 12 feet.
Yeah. We were going, the profile of this bore, we needed to be 20 feet under the highway plus the topography. So we went in at a pretty good entry angle. So we were diving good at that point. I'm going to continue to scroll. Here's the 100 AT drilling out. The world of the drillers living in mud for sure. For this project, Pat and his team got our Vermeer reclaimer back fired up, and that's the machine here with the orange pumps on it, the centrifuge units. We use that for the separation of the solids out of our mud for recycling, and we also brought in a second pump from Tulsa rig, much smaller than the rig that we had down in Exeter, but we were in a nice spot to have two of those units to be able to do both these jobs simultaneously.
Right.
There's our mud man,
The
Ethan.
last one was I think the Tulsa rig iron. This is the
Oh, sorry. Yep. Pardon me, Ken. Yeah, sorry. Thought they were together. They were right there together. So Ethan, and I just comment to our team too. The cross training that's been going on all of these rigs has been great, and this is showing Ethan Coda here. But we've got a lot of guys now working these machines.
Oops, went by. That's the waste end from the drill or from the reclaimer. So there's different finenesses of sands that gets filtered out at different stages.
Yep.
I love this. It's showing really what kind of subsurface conditions we were dealing with.
Yeah. If you went out there after Roger excavated that and saw the pile of rocks, I don't know if that was Bruce or Roger, but both helped out on the project. There was a massive amount of big chunky boulder out there that we worked through.
Yeah, those are the toughest conditions right there.
Yep. And this is that excavation that you saw happening in the previous picture. And this is Mike. This is where we exited out of the rock, and that you can see it looks like a piece of pipe, but it's actually the rock hole. And that's our bit. And that created some issues getting back in. This is where we changed from soil to rock, and we had to actually do some handwork there with cutting tools to seat in our tapered ream cones. This is a pin in Carter's hand that was it never really created any issues, but we wanted to find it so it didn't create issues for us. We had some drag issues that created this open excavation for exploratory reasons, but this is a great picture. It really shows the life of a driller. Carter's head to toe mud there.
It's like a good advertisement for an Apple Watch there.
Yeah, exactly. And Mike Levick took this picture here. This is after we were looking for that pin, we jetted that hole, and normally our holes don't look that clean, but that shows the rock that we were cutting through, and there was a lot of it and pretty hard. It was very hard. It's a great picture.
I'm gonna vote for that picture. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And this is our laydown area for our pipe. We ultimately had to move this to the north a little bit to just get to an area where we could assemble everything due to high waters and damage we didn't want to create to the field. It was owned by a private property owner who was very good to work with. And this matting is part of it's for access and part of it is to get us over the Vermont gas transmission main. This be on the east side of the project.
At this point, I think they were about 2/3 of the way pulled back, and you see how much 12-inch line there is still laid out there even at that point. So there's a lot of pipe to put in the ground.
Those are long days.
Yep.
Here's the picture.
Look at that.
That's the one Ken always likes. Just send me a picture of it pulled back. So there it is.
Here's the pipe, kind of messy as it came in.
Yeah, no, I think, and Reggie piloted this out, and then Mike Levick, Reggie went to Exeter, and Mike completed this bore. So good job, Mike Levick. Good job, everybody.
So then we had to stuff the 2-inch. Oops.
This is Corey getting ready to pull in the 3 2-inch conduits.
Yep. So we put the drill steel with a different drill, right? Or the same drill? Was it the same drill?
Same drill. Drill.
Okay.
Just,
put the
straight down through
steel out there and grabbed it right through the center of the pipe.
Yep. Pretty slick. That makes it nice right here, having these 3 reel trailers just
right
up in the.
And trenching in the last bit, tie-ins.
That's Corey again there.
Yep.
And Roger helped out here. And this is just good practice here. This is the 3 2-inch coming out of the sleeve, the 12-inch sleeve, just sealing that up for future access, future use. And we also see a tracer wire here that wasn't really called for, but it was the right thing to do. We added that in. So.
Yep. Good. All right. Well, that's what we got. This photo archive is some horizontal drilling, directional drilling on the NECR back on the AT&T fiber project. That was ECI's first initiative in HDD. That was our first drill back then in July of 1998. Hold on there, dog. So that's what I got. I'll turn it back over to the safety department. Thank you, Tom. Good presentation.
Yeah, thank you all. Thank you everybody for joining in. If you're watching a group setting, if you could just send that over via text, email, so I can capture attendance, be much appreciated. It's going to be a great day to work safe. Let's go get it.
Okay, catch you later.
See you guys.
Thanks, everybody.